Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or just welcome to my channel if you are new. If you watched my last video, you know that I was doing some gender swapped versions of some anime characters for this gender swap challenge on an anime video I'm part of. I said that I had 4 characters I wanted to gender swap, but I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get to the other 2 before the deadline to enter this challenge contest thingy. But, well, I got them done in time, and I managed to get this video done in time to insert into my entry post. So, yeah, here we are. Anyway, there shouldn't be any spoilers in this one or anything, so you should be good. But, yeah, without further ado, let's get to it, shall we? So, the next 2 characters I want to gender bend for this challenge are Kotetsu and Barnaby from Tiger and Bunny. Now, I'm gonna start with Kotetsu. So, for Kotetsu, his style is kind of like a sharp-ish style, as you say. I won't say like professional looking, but like a more professional, clean look. He has that waistcoat and a tie, dress pants and everything, but his shoes and hat and half sleeves kind of give it that more like personal / casual flair. That's how I would describe it anyway. So I wanted to obviously translate that into the gender bent version that I was doing. So for the gender swap, I decided to just swap out the pants for a like fitted skirt and tights to kind of still retain that professional look, if that makes sense. That clean cut type look, and I did put this like slit in the side of the skirt with like an accordion piece of fabric or something to allow for more movement, because Kotetsu is a very animated character, and so for the gender bend, we wanted her to be able to move a lot for to make those animated motions as such that she's probably making. So yeah, and for the shoes, I pretty much just took his shoes and put a little heel on them, and just to kind of make them look a little bit more feminine, I guess you could say. I didn't want the heels to be too high though, because like I said, animated character, and I didn't want her to be falling and tripping over her heels and making all these exaggerated movements. So yeah, we didn't want it to, we tried to keep his heels fairly short. And for the hair, I was going to just lengthen it a little bit and just leave it down, but I decided to try throwing it back in a kind of ponytail, and I kind of like that, so I ended up pulling it back into a messy ponytail for the gender swap. And yeah, of course I removed the beard that she has, and yeah, I did put a little bow on the hat, mostly just for added flair, and I guess to kind of add more girly touch, but mostly just for flair. And yeah, I also gave her little studs, like earrings, and some simple studs, nothing too flashy. I had heard this tip, I forgot where I heard this tip on character designing, where like the older the character is, like the more modest their appearance, if that makes any sense. Like their clothes might not be as flashy and the jewelry not as gaudy and stuff because they're an older character, but younger characters be more flashy. Of course, the exception proves the rule in that case, but I remember hearing that somewhere. So I was trying to keep the jewelry, that whatever jewelry I gave her, slightly modest, since not like Kotetsu isn't really that old of a character. He's only in his 30s, but still. For the gender bend, I decided to try to keep her jewelry a little less flashy, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so that was about it, really, for the design. Just wanted to try to keep the professional-ish look, and yeah, so for the name, I wanted to find a name that at least meant something similar, and it started with the same letter. I found a couple names that had that same like ko sound in the beginning, but they otherwise all sound super similar. I ended up going with the name Kotara because it still had tiger in the name, so I wanted to keep that. But yeah, it doesn't sound super similar really. And also forgive me, I'm probably mispronouncing these names, but yeah. So I know how to pronounce a Japanese letter, but my English tongue sometimes. But anyway, yeah, so that's for the name. So in case you don't know what Kotetsu actually looks like, I'll show a picture of him here so you can kind of compare it to the gender bent version I just did. But yeah, so here's what he actually looks like. You can tell where I pulled everything from. And my take on a female version of him. Okay, so now we're moving on to gender bending Barnaby. So I know you've seen gender bend Barnaby before in that like guessing game video I did a while ago, but I decided to do him again because one, I didn't explain my design choices in that video. Two, I thought it would be kind of fun to compare his styles to Tetsu's a little bit, and three, because I just like drawing Barbie, gender bent or not. So anyway, if you look at Barnaby, you'll see that his style is a little bit more like trendy, I guess, or hip compared to like Kotetsu's more professional look. Barbie has a slightly more like more casual, cool look. So I want to translate this into the gender bent version, of course. So I kind of kept this in mind. And now for the jacket, I ended up kind of making it more of a crop top jacket because I felt in this case it made it look a little more girly. And I also changed the color a little bit, so it's more of a slightly pinkish red instead of a slightly orangish red than it was before. And I did the same for the boots, so the boots are a little bit more of a pinkish red. And I also pulled the boots all the way up to the knee because I felt this making it a little more girly looking too, and also gave him a slight bit of a heel, not too much of a heel, but a slight bit. Now Barbie is a more reserved character compared to Kotetsu, so maybe his gender bent version could handle a slightly higher heel, but I just didn't feel that would be your style, so I kept the heel minimal. Now, I was going to try to fit like a cute skirt into this outfit, but I honestly didn't know which kind of like style of skirt Barbie would wear if he was a girl, so I ended up just leaving her in pants. I did lighten the color of the pants a little bit for whatever reason. I don't know why, really. I just liked how it looked, I guess. And for the shirt under the coats, when I first gender bent Barbie, I made it white because I felt it matched a little bit better, but now I wasn't sure, so I ended up just sticking with the black color that Barbie is actually wearing, and I honestly kind of like both. I don't know which one I like more, the white shirt or the black shirt, but either way works, I guess, for this one. So, yeah, and the hair, I pretty much just lengthened it and made it longer, falling past the shoulders. All those crazy curls are kind of a pain to draw sometimes. But anyway, and I gave her some hoop earrings. Not like super gaudy, but a little more flashy than the studs that I gave Tetsu's gender bend. Like I said, I was thinking of that one tip I heard somewhere about, the younger character being a little more flashy. Not sure why that would be though. I guess maybe when you're younger, you just kind of want to make a statement more, stand out a little bit more. And when you're older, you're like, done with all that? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But anyway. So, yeah, I was thinking of changing the little, the necklace that he wears. It has, this little rectangle, gold rectangle, right? I was thinking of changing that to an oval, but I didn't really feel the need to do that, so I just left it rectangle. And that's really about it for this gender bend, as far as the design goes. I decided for her name, she would be called Bellamy. And a little bit about the name I chose for her. So, Barnaby's name flows really well with his last name, that being Brooks. So you say Barnaby Brooks Jr., and it flows really well, as you can hear. And, yeah, so I wanted the gender bent version's name to flow just as well. So when I was looking for a name, I had some criteria, that being that it flow well with the last name, obviously, that start with the same letter, and I end with an E sound, as I felt that would help it flow with the last name better. So I ended up coming across the name Bellamy, and it fit the criteria perfectly. So although it might not mean necessarily the same thing as Barnaby or something similar, it still starts with the same letter, ends with the same letter, and it flows really well with the last name. So instead of Barnaby Brooks Jr., it would be Bellamy Brooks Jr. These sounds just as good. So it was the perfect name in my opinion. And in case you don't know what Barbie looks like, I'll show pictures in here so you can kind of compare. So here's what he looks like. And my take on a gender bent version of him. And that's a wrap. Those are all the characters I decided to gender bend for this challenge on Anime, and yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you enjoyed watching me draw these as much as I enjoyed drawing them, and that my commentary wasn't too all over the place. I tend to be bad at explaining things, so I hope it made sense, and I didn't confuse you too much. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.